A girl lost a bet, so her friends gave her a tickling punishment. What happened next will blow your mind, so make sure you watch till the very end. In the quiet mountain region of Maine, there is a small town called Oak Ridge. The cold winds and tall pine trees of this place have always seemed to hide some kind of mystery. In this town lived four best friends: Olivia, Ethan, Sophia, and Lucas. They had grown up together, and this was their last summer vacation before leaving for college. Olivia was the heart of the group, cheerful, adventurous, and a little stubborn. To make their farewell night unforgettable, they stayed at Ethan's old lake house, far away from the town. It was 2 in the morning. Outside, the lake was completely still, and inside, the flames danced in the fireplace. The four friends were playing truth or dare. Then, on a difficult question, Olivia gave up. Lucas laughed and said, "Olivia, you lost the bet. Now you'll have to face our old punishment." It was a childhood punishment, chosen to relive old memories. Olivia had to lie down on a soft couch, and the other three would tickle her until she revealed her favorite childhood secret. Amid laughter and teasing, the punishment began. Sophia and Ethan started tickling Olivia's feet and sides. Olivia burst into loud laughter, her face turning red with joy. She shouted, "Stop! I'll tell you." But then, suddenly, the temperature in the room dropped. Olivia's laughter turned into an eerie silence. Tears filled her eyes, but they were not tears of happiness. She began to tremble, and her gaze fixed on the window behind Ethan, which opened directly toward the dense forest. Ethan turned around, but there was nothing there. When he looked back at Olivia, the ground seemed to slip from under his feet. Olivia was gone. On the couch, there was only her old denim jacket, the one she never took off. The entire room fell into a grave-like silence. Lucas shouted, "Olivia, stop joking." The suspense deepened when Sophia found Olivia's old diary under the couch. The last page had been written recently. It said, "If I lose the bet tonight, I may never return. What is lost in the forest of Oak Ridge is calling me." The friends realized that Olivia had been carrying a heavy burden for years. 10 years ago, near this very lake house, Olivia's little sister had disappeared into the forest. Olivia blamed herself, because that day they had been playing hide and seek together. Just then, they heard Olivia's giggle from near the lake outside, a laugh, exactly like the one her sister used to have in childhood. Ethan, Sophia, and Lucas ran toward the lakeside. Through the fog, they saw Olivia. She was kneeling near the water, talking to an invisible shadow. When they reached her, Olivia turned around. There was a strange calm in her eyes. She said, "I found her. She forgave me." Between her fingers was an old doll ribbon, the same ribbon her sister had been wearing on the day she disappeared. Suddenly, a cold gust of wind blew. A peaceful smile appeared on Olivia's face. She hugged her friends tightly and burst into tears. That punishment, that tickling, and that bet had been a way to release the fear Olivia had buried inside for years. That night, the forest of Oak Ridge returned a secret, but left behind a mystery forever. How did that ribbon reach Olivia, when that place had been abandoned for years? The lakeside of Oak Ridge fell silent, but it was not a peaceful silence. It felt like the warning of a coming storm. The old ribbon in Olivia's hand suddenly fluttered without any wind. Ethan gently touched Olivia's shoulder, but the moment his hand touched her, he felt a shock like electricity. Olivia's sobbing stopped abruptly. She raised her head and looked at her friends, but the eyes they saw were no longer Olivia's. Lucas stepped back in fear. He saw Olivia's shadow on the ground splitting into two. One was her own, and the other belonged to a small child. In a slow, cold voice, Olivia said, "She says the game is not over yet. The punishment is still incomplete." Before Sophia could say anything, the water of the lake began to boil. Thick fog spread everywhere, so dense that they could no longer see each other's faces. Sophia felt as if a small child was holding her hand. She thought it was Olivia, but when she looked down, there was only a rotten doll lying on the ground, its eyes disturbingly real. Terrified, all four ran back to the lake house. They locked the door from inside and gathered in the center of the living room. Ethan was breathing heavily. He shouted, "Olivia, what did you do that night? Where did that ribbon come from?" Olivia sat near the fireplace. Her voice no longer sounded like her own. She revealed that 10 years ago, when her sister disappeared, it was not an accident. Olivia had locked her sister inside a secret basement in this very house so she could play alone with her friends. But when she came back, the door was locked from the outside, and there was no sound from inside. That door had never been opened again. Ethan, Lucas, and Sophia were stunned. In the house where they spent every vacation, the soul of an innocent child had been trapped. Suddenly, scratching sounds echoed from the walls, as if hundreds of tiny hands were tearing through the wood. Then, from under the couch, they heard the same tickling, laughter that had filled the room during Olivia's punishment. Now the punishment was not for Olivia, it was for all of them. They felt invisible forces running fingers over their bodies. They did not want to laugh, but uncontrollable laughter burst from their throats. This was not laughter of joy, it was laughter of pain and terror. Lucas collapsed onto the floor. He felt something pulling him from beneath the ground. Between the wooden planks, a small pale finger appeared and grabbed his shoelace. Sophia screamed, "We have to find that door. We have to set her free." They searched the house frantically. Then Ethan remembered the old storage room under the kitchen, where a heavy carpet had always been placed and never moved. They pulled the carpet aside, revealing a large iron door covered in rust. As soon as they opened it, a freezing blast of air rushed out. What they saw inside made their souls tremble. There was no skeleton, only countless ribbons tied everywhere, identical to the one in Olivia's hand. And in the center, on an old table, was the same board game they had been playing that night. Olivia slowly walked toward the darkness of the basement. She turned back and said, "She chose me. According to the bet, the one who loses must stay here." As Olivia stepped into the darkness, the heavy iron door slammed shut on its own. Ethan and Lucas tried desperately to open it, but it would not budge. The next morning, when the police arrived, they found only Ethan, Sophia, and Lucas in the house. They were in shock, repeating only one sentence: "The bed is still not over." When the police broke open the basement door, there was no room inside, only solid ground, as if there had never been any passage at all. Olivia was never found, but even today, if someone loses a bed in that lake house, they hear laughter and the sound of nails scraping against the walls. People say Olivia is still there, playing that game with her sister, the game she left unfinished 10 years ago. For Ethan, Sophia, and Lucas, that morning became a never-ending nightmare. The police searched every corner of the lake house, but found no trace of Olivia. The most shocking thing was that where the basement door had been, there was now only solid concrete. Weeks passed. Ethan returned to his city, but sleep abandoned him. Every night, at the exact time Olivia had lost the bet, an unknown number sent him a message. The message contained no words, only a short audio clip. Olivia's terrifying laughter, and behind it, the whisper of a small child. One night, the window of Ethan's room opened on its own. A freezing wind blew in. On the floor beside his bed lay the same old red ribbon Olivia had found by the lake. The moment he saw it, a memory flashed in his mind. He remembered that near the lake house there used to be an old lighthouse, now in ruins. He immediately called Sophia and Lucas. They were experiencing the same things. They realized the game was not over yet. Olivia was calling them somewhere. That night, the three friends reached the old lighthouse. Waves crashed violently against the rocks. The door of the lighthouse was open, as if someone was waiting for them. As soon as they entered, the old machinery started running on its own. A beam of light fell down the stairs. Olivia was standing there, wearing the same clothes she had worn that night, but her face was now completely pale. She pointed upward. When they reached the top, they saw an old film projector running. On the wall played a video from the day Olivia's sister disappeared. The video showed that her sister had not disappeared. She had hidden herself inside an old trunk to protect herself. But in the video, there was a fifth child, unknown to them. Instead of rescuing her, that child locked the trunk from the outside. Ethan's throat went dry. He looked closely and saw a birthmark on the hand of that fifth child. The same birthmark that Lucas had. Sophia and Ethan slowly turned toward Lucas. His face had completely changed. The same cruel smile appeared on his face that he had when he won the bet. In a low voice, he said, "I only followed the rules of the game. She was supposed to hide, and I was not supposed to find her." As soon as he said this, the lighthouse light turned blood red. Olivia's spirit moved toward Lucas. Lucas screamed, but laughter poured from his mouth. He felt what Olivia had felt, thousands of invisible hands tickling him. But this tickling was tearing into his skin. Suddenly, a massive explosion shook the lighthouse. The windows of the top floor shattered. When the dust settled, both Olivia and Lucas were gone. On the floor lay only two red ribbons, tangled together. Ethan and Sophia have now moved far away from that town. But even today, they cannot watch anyone being tickled. They are afraid that the old secret hidden behind laughter may surface again. People say that even now, on the top of the old lighthouse in Oak Ridge, two shadows can be seen, one running, the other chasing it. And when the winds grow strong, a voice echoes through the mountains. Now it's your turn. And before our video ends, if you're new to the channel, don't be stingy. Like the video and subscribe to the channel right now.